I know Kim Kardashian's latest diet sounds interesting, but trust me when I say that you do not need to try it. So today we're talking about more of a pop culture kind of topic, and that is Kim Kardashian and her latest diet. And when this video is going up, I definitely have something in mind. Here recently, within the past few weeks, Kim Kardashian has been vocal on social media about a diet that she's trying, and so that has had this topic rolling around in my head. But really, whenever you're watching this, whether you're watching this when it first gets posted, or if you were watching this months or probably even years from now when I'm recording it, this is probably gonna apply because Kim Kardashian is a very visible person who has a lot of influence, and she often talks about what she's eating or not eating, various diet programs that she has been on, fitness routines, all of these different types of things that are around manipulating the way her body looks. And so this is not a one-off type of thing. This comes around again and again and again, and whatever she's talking about might kind of change, but the underlying thing is still the same. Her talking about some sort of diet or other sort of things she's doing to change her appearance. And the reason I want to talk about this today is because Kim Kardashian and her siblings have a tremendous amount of influence. They are very recognizable. I mean, everyone knows who they are and the things that they say and do. They really can make shifts in our overall culture and the things that are popular and what other people are saying and doing, all of that kind of stuff. I mean, you could strongly argue that the way I have done my hair and makeup today is heavily influenced by the Kardashians and the Jenners and the way that they do their hair and makeup. So the things that they do, the things that they say really can have an impact. And that's true, I think, for everyone. Diets aren't healthy. I know that. It's something that I talk about all the time. I'm strongly anti-diet, and if you happen to be new here and don't know who I am, my name is Sarah. I am a registered dietitian, and this whole channel is about food and nutrition stuff. So if you're into that sort of thing, then you should definitely subscribe, but you should also know that I'm very anti-diet, and many of you watching are probably anti-diet. If you're interested in my content and what I'm doing, that's probably a value you hold as well. But here's the thing. Even for me, this stuff can suck me in, and it has this certain appeal. Here recently, I was watching an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians because I enjoy watching their show, and it was an older episode, but I mean older as in from the earlier part of this most recent season. And in that episode, Kim was talking about some new diet she was going on. And even for me, as someone who's very against dieting and knows all of the negative impacts that dieting can have on our physical health, as well as on our mental health and all these other things, even for me, I could feel whatever it was, like her talking about this diet that she was going to go on and getting ready for it and all this kind of stuff, pushing some sort of buttons in my brain that made me ooh, that sounds interesting. And then the logical part of my brain was like, no, why are you feeling that way? But it's almost this kind of I don't know if it's built in or trained or whatever, but when people start talking about diets, we get excited about it, even if we know the problems with dieting. And I have a video where I talk about why we like diet so much, so I will link that video if you haven't seen it, or maybe if you just need a refresher on that. But it definitely is a thing that even when we know better, sometimes we can still kind of see the shiny thing or the carrot at the end of the stick or whatever, and it kind of catches our attention and can start to draw us in. And so what I want to make really clear is that there are a couple things going on here with Kim Kardashian and her dieting stuff. The first is there's this underlying message or this underlying thought that maybe we have as people who are looking at her and seeing what she's talking about, that if she's talking about a certain diet or some other thing to change the way her body looks, that maybe if we do that thing, we can look like her, because her appearance is held up as a beauty standard in our culture. So we think, oh, if I'm doing the same thing Kim's doing, then I can look like Kim, and because she is what is considered beautiful, then I can be beautiful. But the problem with that is, one, comparing our body to anyone else's body and trying to look like someone else is just totally unrealistic and unhelpful. We are all different. We come in a variety of shapes and sizes, and so to think that we can make ourselves look like someone else, it's not gonna happen. Even if two people are doing the exact same thing, they're not gonna look the same because they are different people. So that's the first thing we have to remember. And comparison is a problem whether you're comparing yourself to Kim Kardashian and maybe some of the, the few body types, shapes, sizes, appearances that are held up as being beautiful in our society, if you're comparing yourself to that, but also just people that you know personally. Comparison not a good thing, because we're never going to be another person. The second problem is that someone like Kim Kardashian has had some plastic surgery and other things done. And this is not a video about plastic surgery or whether that's a good idea or a bad idea or whatever. But my point with that is that not only are you comparing yourself then to someone else, but you're comparing yourself to someone who doesn't even look the way that they look naturally. So Kim Kardashian doesn't even look like Kim Kardashian. She, in a way, is also trying to strive to look like this thing that's her, but it's also not her. And so she has this pressure to look this certain way or to put up this certain appearance, which kind of adds another layer to this whole thing. And so no matter what diet she's doing, you have to understand that, one, you shouldn't be taking your nutrition advice from just some celebrity or someone with no nutrition credentials, but also doing what she's doing is not going to make you look like her, because you are not her. So what can we do about this? Well, I think one big thing we can do is expose ourselves to a variety of appearances, different types of people that look all kinds of different ways, and really see the variety that naturally occurs within a group of people, because we are so constantly exposed to and inundated with these images in social media or in television or print media or whatever that just show us a few body types, a few different ways to look, and hold that up as what's beautiful and the thing that we should be trying to strive for or achieve or look like. And so we're just seeing these few different variations on what is considered pretty, rather than seeing the true variety that exists when you look at the population overall. And so, you know, if we didn't have all those forms of media, we would just see the people around us and be like, oh, that's what people look like. They look like all different types. But when we're, you know, exposed to this limited selection, this small percent of the population, it can really skew the way we think about those things in our head. So this means being conscious of the media you consume, looking at the types of images you're exposed to, and trying to maybe cut some of those out if they're a problem, but also bring other images in. So it's this combination of, you know, trying not to be exposed to those things so much, but also bringing in the other types of bodies and shapes and sizes and appearances as well. So a big way that we can actually have control over this is who we are following on social media, because you get to choose who is in your feed and who you are seeing. So find people that look like you and find people that look not like you. You know, get that diversity of different people in your feed so you're seeing the natural variation that we would see just out in the world. I think that really makes a big difference, because it kind of helps get your brain reset a little bit. And I have found it personally very helpful within the past few years of really being more aware of the type of imagery that I'm exposed to. It's really helped me, because you really start to see all the different shapes and sizes and variations that can be out there. You start to appreciate your own body more, because you're following people who look like you, but also because you're following people who look different from you. And so doing all of that really does help to kind of cleanse your palate a little bit and undo some of this stuff that's been done by being constantly exposed to such a limited selection of body shapes and sizes and appearances. I also think it's important to remember that when we see the people who do fit into this narrow beauty standard, it's often at those times when they are trying their hardest to look that way. We're not seeing them just all the time kind of hanging out. We're seeing them when they are at a photo shoot or on a red carpet. And so we are seeing them when a lot of work has gone into, you know, this one moment to try to look this one way with a team of people doing hair and makeup and their outfit and all of the stuff that's going on behind the scenes. So even for them, you know, these people who already are fitting this narrow beauty standard, we even expect them and are seeing them at those times when they are trying to squeeze themselves even more narrowly into looking unreal perfection, like they are, you know, kind of painted or drawn, not looking how they just kind of naturally do. And they know what angles to stand at to make them look their best or whatever in photos. So we have these people who are held up as the standard, but even they are having to do extra work to achieve that look as well. And let me be clear, I'm not saying that this is an easy thing to do, you know, just love yourself the way you are and everything will be fine. I mean, that's a wonderful thing to strive for, is loving yourself and the way you look, but it also can be challenging because we are dealing with all these outside pressures. So even when you do this work to work on yourself, you're fighting against this current of the rest of society. So, you know, it's definitely a worthwhile thing to do, and I think it can be really helpful for just improving the way you feel about yourself and improving the way you feel as you move through the world. But I also want to acknowledge that it's not just a personal thing that we're working on. We're also, you know, steeped in this outside culture that we're having to deal with as well. So I'm not saying it's easy, but I do think it's an important thing and a worthwhile thing to do. So bottom line, whatever diet Kim Kardashian is going on, you don't need to be doing it. And, you know, we're not going to look like Kim Kardashian. None of us are, because we are not her. And just the same way that she's not going to look like any one of us. So I hope you like this video. Let me know in the comments if you have any thoughts on this whole thing, because I would love to hear it. And if you happen to be new here and you want more healthy eating tips and nutrition info and videos like this one, then make sure that you subscribe, because eating healthy and living a healthy lifestyle really doesn't have to be complicated, and I want to show you how to do it. And if you want to watch some more videos, I have a couple linked over here that you might like. Thanks for watching. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.